What is up, everyone? This is Thomas Miner. I am an agent with Remax Precision, and this is Thomas Talks Live on Thursday. I am doing this as kind of a hope of reaching out to all my followers and not just always putting out pre-planned videos. I want you guys to hear live discussions of people talking about real estate, and I want to answer questions that you guys are interested in. And I have some very exciting stuff for you this episode. Most importantly, we have the first live call-in, and I'm going to bring him in right now. Jared, what's going on, buddy?
Dude, how we doing?
We are doing well, man. How are you doing with the cold? I can hear you.
See me, hear me?
Yep, we are good. How are you doing with the cold?
Oh, dude, that was gonna be my first question to you, given the weather, is like, what is your favorite cold weather day activity? So whether let's say it's a weekend, right? It's freezing cold. What are you gonna be doing?
You know what I haven't done in a while, and this is gonna make me sound really, really nerdy. I have not watched all of the Lord of the Rings extended cuts in a long time.
You're due. I think I am too.
You just need to have like a spare 16 hours.
Yeah.
And then you're good to go.
I mean, at least, and if you really want to dive deep, I may or may not have downloaded the audiobooks into a Google Drive. Sorry, Zuck. I probably shouldn't be sharing that with the world, but if you want them, it's a fantastic, very, 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 very long audiobook with all three of the books.
All right, so for people that don't know you, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jared. I'm a mortgage lender. Worked with Thomas here. We have our office, Key Mortgage Group in Urbandale, and have been in the mortgage world now for coming up on 6 years. I feel old, but I'm excited to be the first official guest call-in of the year.
Of the year, yeah. We've been doing the show for 6 weeks now, I think, on and off. And every single time I put that link in the comments in case people want to call in, and you're the first call in. You're the first person that's been brave enough.
I'm always up for a little danger, we'll call it.
Hopefully we're not going to get you in too much danger. I'm going to pull up. Normally I bring one or two topics that I want to talk about because I find them interesting. And then we just open it up to questions that I've gotten throughout the day. So we'll start with the topic that I brought.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this, but ION, Improving Our Neighborhoods, which is a program that's in Des Moines, they are for people that own a home in Des Moines and are below 80% of the area median income. They are running a program to help those homeowners do exterior projects to repair their house. So roofing, siding, windows, doors, and other exterior safety improvements and stuff like that. And I have had a homeowner reach out to them before. If you can get the right person out there, they will even do foundation repairs because that can be considered exterior as well. So
wow. So I will make a point to this. So I have not I've seen, because there's been programs over the years that we've seen. I have not seen this one specifically, but this is good. And I wanted to provide some insight. So 80% of the area median income, according to Fannie Mae and like Polk County, let's just say, is like right around like 90 grand. So I don't know what this program, if it's qualifying or household income, but if you make less than 90 grand, it's worth looking up into.
Which chances are, I mean, if you're a single homeowner, the chances 100%. Are you're under that. Yeah. So,
and if you have a question on whether you would qualify, if you bought your house with 3% down, it's very likely that you probably qualify for this, because most 3% homebuyer programs are the less than 80% AMI. Not all the time, but most of the time.
So kind of on that point, something I was going to bring up, because when I start thinking about exterior projects, I think of two different loan project programs. I think of FHA and I think of VA, and why staying up to date on your exterior would be important for both of those programs. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, with those government-based programs, so let's just say like, and I actually just had this example. So let's just say you have an FHA loan and you bought your house FHA, but over the last 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, whatever, there was some, some siding or windows that got cracked, and you just aren't in a place to do it. Well, if you want to refinance your loan and you want to stay in that FHA, VA, USDA loan, you're gonna have to do a new appraisal. And if it's flagged on that appraisal that, hey, this is a health and safety issue, that your, siding is completely damaged, this is an opportunity to have that fixed, especially even for the 3,500. If you gave me 3,500 to do external repairs on my house right now, I would be like all in.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if it's just, I mean, it's free money, right? I mean, even if it's just the smallest of projects, their
Yeah.
applications are open January through February. I would at least apply and see what you can get done. Like you had mentioned, if you're ever interested, reach out to me because I kind of follow these things like a hawk. West Des Moines has a similar program. Theirs is a loan though, or it's a loan that you don't have to make payments on, but it is you have to pay it off when you sell your house if you sell it within 10 years. Norwalk has a very similar program to the
Yeah.
one West Des Moines has. There's lots of stuff out here like this. So if you have a roof that is just beat up, that you can't quite get that insurance claim on, but you know it needs to be repaired at some point in time. Siding is another big one that sometimes people just don't have the money or don't have the means to keep up on. And then, like I pointed out, foundation is a big one as well. So,
Yeah. And like, so I just double checked what Polk County is. It looks like it may have already increased for the year. $90,640 is the area median income for Polk County.
so you'd have to be under 80% of that. So
No. That is the 80%.
that is the 80%.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. The 100% is 113,300,
Okay.
according
Well,
to Fannie Mae. So, and I would imagine that's what they're likely going to go off of.
cool. Good to know. All right. So let's get into some follower questions. I'll kind of give my thoughts first, and then you can ask me any follow-up questions, or you can just throw in your 2 cents if you want. How does your advice change for someone looking to buy their first home compared to upgrading to the second or third, or buying a second property entirely? So my first thought is it's always kind of looking at first-time home buyers or people not necessarily buying their forever home, people buying their forever home, and people buying investment properties. First time home, people buying not necessarily their forever home. I'm kind of looking to hit what I call like the 85% rule. I'm basically making a list with the couple or the single buyer, and we're clearly stating out their needs, we're clearly stating out their wants, and I'm explaining the difference between those two things with them. The needs are like, hey, Thomas, I just can't see myself buying a house that doesn't have this. The wants are just the things that would be nice. And I'm trying to get all the needs and 85% of the wants as long as it fits within budget when I'm buying that forever home or the not forever home with someone. Forever home is a totally different thing. It is typically those buyers are a lot more patient because they know this is going to be the home that they are either going to die in, or this will be the home that they own before they go to a retirement home, and they're just going to live out their whole life in that. In that case, one, I want to make sure financially they're in a position to invest in that type of home, because this is going to be a home that we can't really spare any expenses on. It needs to fit pretty much everything. And then investing is a totally different thing. We could get into the analytics side of it. We can find neighborhoods that have really good returns on rents and stuff like that if they're looking to buy and hold, or we can just, if they're looking to flip it, we could just find homes that I think are in good neighborhoods that have strong demand, and we just simply do the math as far as this is what it's listed at, this is what I think we can get it at, this is how much we think it's going to cost to repair it, this is how much we think we can sell it at. How much are you looking to make when you flip it? It's just kind of as simple as that. Anything you would want to toss in there?
I mean, my approach to this question typically just is from a lending side. I think from the real estate side, you've just absolutely pegged it with the wants and the needs, because I think you can agree it's no small ask to move. Moving sucks. Like, that's my stance on moving. Moving is awful. But that being said, owning a home is awesome. So it's that the balance of when you're moving up to a bigger and probably better house, like that is fantastic. So if you want me to touch on the loan side, what I think about, then I can touch on that. But I think you nailed it from the real estate side.
Yeah, talk about it on the loan side of things. Do you, when someone's applying for a loan, do you look at it any differently if it's a first time home buyer versus someone that is looking to upgrade it to what could potentially be their forever home?
Yeah. So typically with someone that's upgrading to a new home, if you own a home, you're wanting to buy a new one, typically the first question that gets asked is, do I have to sell my home first in order to get a new house? That's like always the first question. So we, from the loan side, have to evaluate, can we buy a new house while you're still living in your current house and then move in after? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. And really the two main factors is, can we afford two payments at once? And or do we have enough assets, money for down payment on a new house? So therefore, we have a qualifiable loan.
You guys have any cool tools to help people bridge that transition?
We do. So we have bridge loan opportunities, and essentially a bridge loan is you borrow against the equity of your current home for the down payment on the new one. Like one example would be, we have a tool or a program, we'll call it that, where you're able to actually get a letter in writing from this program that says, we will buy your house at this. It's a purchase agreement. And it removes the contingency for buying, but you do have to pay a fee to use this program. Or another one is, if it's actually for sale, they'll give you the difference in the money up front, so you can use it for the down payment, plus exclude it from our side. So you remove the contingency. It does come at a cost. And there's other things that we can do, but that's probably the coolest program that I can think of off the top of my head.
Is there any sort of relief? Hypothetically, I mean, the biggest thing people are probably worried about is having the two payments. Is there any sort of relief for that?
So if it was a traditional bridge loan, typically they will pay off the first mortgage and it's interest only. This specific program, it's you maintain your first mortgage payment, but you don't pay on the second loan for that bridge, which is why it's so attractive, is so you're not making two payments. And with that program, they want to get your house sold within 120 days. So they're not actually buying it from you. They are really encouraging you, like, okay, let's get this thing sold.
Do you think that type of thing is more tempting in a seller's market versus a buyer's market?
It can be. You just really will have to just be able to stomach the fee to do that. And the reason why I say that is because, again, when you are utilizing these tools, it's typically not cheap to do. But if you have, $150,000 of equity, is it worth spending the extra $9,000 to just be able to get into your new house now while you're wait for your home to sell? That might be worth it for somebody.
Yeah. I think it's really, really tempting when you're in a low inventory market, because once you find that property that you want to move into, and you can remove that subject to sale contingency and get it locked up and guarantee that you're going to get it.
Yep.
It's really, really tempting. Whereas now some of the people that have reached out to me lately that have been doing this have been in markets or neighborhoods where I'm just worried about how quickly we can sell their house.
Yeah.
So I've been encouraging them to get their house listed. And what you could do is have the offer that's coming in on there. You can add a home of choice contingency, which basically gives you like 14 to 21 days to shop for the next place. And
Let me ask you a question, because I think this is, from the buying side, right? That's where I'm going to be. The conversation starts with, typically it starts with me. For you, on the selling of the first home, how do you approach that with a seller where it's like, it might be in a market where it might sit longer? Like, how do you have that conversation with that seller up front?
normally it's all about just like, because whenever I come to that first listing appointment, I'm bringing comps and I'm just bringing neighborhood statistics, and it's just showing them the numbers and telling them what they like, asking them what they see.
Mm-hmm.
When I find, and a lot of those sellers I've been working with lately is like, there's been really, really good comps. There's been 3 or 4 homes that are like, this is the same house. It's 2 blocks away from you. They listed it a month ago. This home was at X price and it sat on market for 92 days, which a few years before I started wasn't that crazy. But since we went through 21, 22, everyone is used to like, I list a house and it sells in a weekend and it's
Right.
awesome. Like, but now it's, in some situations, it's kind of flipped a little bit, and houses are going back to more of that 30 days, 60 days, 90 days on
Yep.
market, and it's just showing them like, we can find the price where we can sell it in a weekend if you want, but if we want to sell it at what the comps are telling us, it's showing us that this home could take 30 to 60 days to sell. And there's some situations where, hey, Thomas, like, we only want to sell this house if we can make X proceeds. And if we want to make X proceeds, we have to list it at this price. Well, at that price, we're going to have to be really patient,
Yeah.
and it's
I
just,
think that's a great way to put that, like in how you lay that out for people. It just makes sense.
yeah, yeah. And it's not me trying to be rude, like, and tell them that their house sucks. Like, every house is so unique. Doing comps is one of the harder things to do as an agent, because it's like 60%, 80% science and numbers and stuff like that. And then 20% of it is just gut feel. And
Right.
sometimes my gut feel leads me to list it too low. And sometimes my gut feel leads me to tell them to list it too high. Like,
Yeah.
it
Well,
happens.
and even add another 20%, which now puts us at 120, which I'm not a math guy, but but then also sellers will say, well, you said my home's worth 200,000. I think it's worth 215. And now you're bridging a gap of like, listen, here's the numbers. Some people operate solely off the emotion and not the numbers. So how do you handle
Mhm.
that conversation?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just goes back to what I said. It's like, literally, like, in an ideal world, I can find a few houses that are very, very similar to theirs and just pull it up literally on my computer or on my phone and be like, look through this house and tell me what you think this house has better or worse than your house. It's like, okay, this one
I
thing's
like
better, but these 2 things are worse. Well, okay, this house sold at 205.
that. Yep.
So what do you think, like, that's telling us? Like, so, and it's other, the other thing we're running into too, and it's really, really unfortunate because of where we live, it is just the seasonality of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is, as dumb as it sounds, the truth of the matter is when it's this cold out or the weather is this bad, unless you have the most serious buyer in the world, which I actually am going out and showing houses on Saturday. unless you have
Awesome.
unless you have the most serious buyer in the world, they're not going out and looking at houses.
Right.
Like, and you would be surprised, like, the warmer weather bringing some of those tire kickers out. You'd be surprised, like, at what percentage of those actually can end up leading to a deal.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shut up, Sammy. Just in, just in the last year, our team has had 3 or 4 houses sell from open houses, and it's just
Wow.
like, those are typically tire kickers. Like, they're not very serious buyers,
Right.
but they came in, liked the place, got approved, and wrote an offer.
Well,
Like,
and that's the thing. Open houses, 99.99% of people that go to open houses aren't looking to buy that house, right? Because they're doing private showings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. So just kind of one of those weird things in the market right now.
Yeah,
Saturday, I think the high is supposed to be 5 degrees. So
sounds awesome.
I actually think with this one, I'm going to ask you where your gut goes first, and then I'm going to give my answer.
Okay.
What is the best neighborhood in Des Moines to invest in for short-term rentals slash Airbnb?
You know what? This is interesting. And I'm not well versed super in the Airbnb. I like multifamily and single family rentals. But for this, I mean, gosh, it's really hard to argue with like the East Village, getting a condo. I know people who have had success with that. For me, I think another one, and it depends too. I've seen some Airbnbs like in South Ankeny where it's like a little bit quieter. I think I'm blanking in the one in West. What's the West Des Moines where Fix and Co is at?
Oh, Valley Junction?
Valley Junction. I think Valley Junction could be in a good opportunity from short-term rentals because it's such a cool area. But again, I'm not the pro on Airbnbs, but I would be better versed on rentals long-term and multifamily.
Well, so just really quick before I ask you if you follow up, where do for long-term single-family rentals, where would your gut tell you?
For me, it's Ankeny. I mean,
Yeah.
I think with the townhouse scenario, in single family being more like townhouses too, the south side would be a really good for like actual houses. You can get it a little cheaper. Rents are really strong in Des Moines, like across the board. You can get decent rent, especially if it's like 3 bedroom or more.
Mm-hmm.
So then it just does the deal work.
So as far as the Airbnb and short-term rental, um, my head immediately goes to where in Des Moines is hosting the most events that people would be coming out of town from, and where in the Des Moines area would be the most like short-term work, which might be a little bit harder to predict, but both of those led me to basically trying to get something around downtown. So like what you were saying with the East Village, and then I even thought of like the Ingersoll neighborhood
Yeah.
because you have kind of a downtown feel there, and you're very, very close to downtown as well. I honestly don't think Valley Junction's a terrible option either because you have the newly remodeled Valor Ballroom and you have the Valley Junction Market. So who knows if someone was coming
Yeah.
from out of the area to go to a show there, um, and they want to be close to the market, it might not be a bad demand. And honestly, you're not that far away from downtown either.
Yeah.
Because like I live in Valley Junction, I can get on Grand and I can get downtown in 8 minutes.
Right. Exactly.
So as long as they're coming from out of town and they're bringing a car, it's not a terrible option either.
What about Beaverdale? I think because like I
Kind of
think
thought
of
about
like
that.
Drake relays and things like
Yep.
that. Like
Yep.
again, it's more affordable to get in. Oh shoot.
So,
Damn, dude, you had this and didn't show me.
so I just was curious and I popped on Airbnb and took a screenshot really quick of just the inventory that's available for Airbnb right now. And you can kind of see where it's all centered around. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
downtown. This little left section of it is Ingersoll neighborhood, and then, like you said, Drake is right there. Looks like Beaverdale has one Airbnb listing, and Valley Junction has one. This is up here. That's almost getting into Ankeny. That's like that weird Des Moines, Ankeny in between area. I didn't specifically go look at Ankeny, but I'm kind of curious.
During football season, it would be popular because
Yeah,
Iowa State. Ames is actually a really good Airbnb market. Just I know a few people that do Airbnb there, but it's seasonal because of the football. I guess
no,
basketball now too, but you
that
know
was another
it's not always been like that.
that was another one I thought about too, because I thought about the fairgrounds, but it's so seasonal.
Yeah,
And I wonder, I think a lot of the people that come into town for the fair that are coming from out of town, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them use the RV park and do all that type of thing.
Well,
Um,
and there's so many shuttles that run from downtown to the fairgrounds that downtown still makes sense.
mhm. Yeah, but I mean, I would if I was just getting started, I would kind of sort of do exactly what you're talking about. I'd try to find one of those condos downtown
Yeah.
because there's going to be a certain amount of security to it because that condo probably has some sort of code to get in.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about it just being a single family type thing where someone figures out that it's vacant and does something to it. So there's a little bit of security in that. And a lot of those condos, if they're managed correctly, the exteriors and everything are really, really good shape. So you don't have to worry about that. And it's just such a manageable space that
Oh, dude.
it wouldn't cost that much to furnish it. And it wouldn't cost that much to make it look nice or make it look unique. Because I know a lot of the people in Airbnb right now are just struggling with how to make their listing stand out and how to make it
Yeah.
unique and everything like that.
Well, and dude, like East Village, east side of downtown, there is so many cool things to do. Like truly, it is like one of the most unique places that it's just like a wide variety of things.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Let me. That was it. That was all I had planned. That's it for questions. I normally try to keep this around 20, 30 minutes. You have any other things that are on your mind with the market or Des Moines area?
I think I made a video about this the other day. So many buyers, at least from a market standpoint, got left behind the last 3 years
I
due
saw that
to high
video.
interest rates, increasing home prices. Rents were still, relatively cheap. Well, that's shifted a lot. I'm hearing a lot of people that are like, "Oh, my rent's 2,000 and I want to buy a $250,000 house." It's like, listen, you should re-enter. Rates are coming down. Home prices are I'm gonna say stagnated, but just they're not climbing at the rate of accept it maybe normalized. Maybe normalized is the word. People are if buyers are re-entering the market now, they're getting the most balanced market that we've had in 3 years.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask you the question that you probably hate to hear the most. What's your gut feeling as far as where interest rates are trending and when we might see movement? Because it's going to kind of lead into my follow up point.
Do you want the short answer or do you want the long answer?
Short.
I think May.
May, we're going to see a little bit of movement. I would,
More sizable movement. That's my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah. I would encourage people to start looking and think about getting under contract before that stuff comes out.
Agreed.
Because whenever there is a shift, whether it's bad or good, you kind of sort of want to be the first reactor. And I feel like if interest rates move enough, we're going to get into a situation where sellers aren't going to be as willing to negotiate. And you want to be the one that got under contract, got a good deal, and then before you close, hopefully interest rates shift and you can get the good interest rate but the good deal at the same time.
And to your point, if you buy a house now and you're comfortable with the payment, because that's ultimately what it comes down to. You have to be comfortable. What hard stop doesn't matter if rates 10% or 2%. You have to be comfortable. But if you get in and you get in at 6.25, 5.875 now, and rates go to 5.25, and I would rather miss on interest rate and it go down, or I mean, even miss and rates go up, but at least I'm locked in. Like that's the beauty thing right now. It's like we have the lowest rates we've seen in 3 years. Plus, there's opportunity for it to go lower. Like, dude, that is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting time to start looking. And I think in the next few weeks, we're going to see even more inventory come on the market. So it could really be fun. Jared, I appreciate you calling in, man. And I appreciate you being one of my go-tos. So anyone that was
Anytime, brother.
watching, thank you guys for watching. And as always, thank you for commenting on the post that I put up in the morning. I appreciate that as well.
All right, man. Thank you.